Hello, everybody. Welcome to the studio. You are listening to Studio Sessions Acts, Art Communicates the Soul. I'm your host, Dr. Vanita Kelly. Josh Shell, NoDoze, is in the studio with us. He's a spoken word and hip-hop artist, and we're going to get to know him, his influences, and his thoughts about his art this hour. So let's start out with the easy stuff. Where are you from?
Well, I was born in Springfield. We'll just wrap it up real quick. Then my parents moved to Florida. Then I grew up in Rock Island, Illinois. About 15 years there.
Okay, and so because we're talking Springfield, Ohio.
Yes. So we moved back. We'll just finish it up. So then we moved back in 2007, and I've been in Springfield and in like the Enon County since then, since 2007. So quite a ways.
Now, you've got a background of competing in spoken word and hip hop freestyle contests, right?
I haven't gotten to compete. I do a lot of street stuff. I mean, like, I'm always looking to do that. There's a lot of people. I mean, freestyling has just kind of changed a lot in the last 10 years. Like, kind of like when I was ready to go out and do it, a lot of that stuff had already happened, and things within the business changed. So the marketing of freestyles changed, so that people they'd make it into like a spectacle where they can make as much money and everybody can promote it, and they make it into like it's more like a reality TV thing where it's like, and that's cool. I would do that. I just am like more of a off the top, right then and there improv cat. And they don't really do that kind of stuff anymore. It's not that I wouldn't. Basically, yes, me and my friends do that to each other. We just clown each other. That's kind of how we sharpened each other into what we can do now, you know. I would love to do that. If anybody knows where that stuff is, and let me know. Yeah.
I hear a little something. There are some things that you have some real critiques about in terms of where the art is going. You mentioned that it's reality TV type.
Well, I love it all. You know, I'm not hating on it all, because in some ways that's helping that person quite tremendously. I'm not really nobody, you know. I'm just the dude that has spent a lot of his time doing this, and so like I feel like I've earned my right to have an opinion about it. I appreciate the people that take on most of the work that you can tell are trying to put their soul still in their music. You know, it's not about a paycheck. And if that's very apparent, then, you know, you kind of got my vote instantly kind of in that regard, if you will. Honestly, when it comes to artists, I have more respect and love for a lot of them when they're coming up than when they get money and like that. Sometimes even they do well for a while. It's just after a certain... they just kind of get less hungry, you know, and you can hear it a little bit, and not everybody, you know. But yeah, I got some critiques. I'm like, again, not hating. It's just not a thing. It's just like I've rocked with a lot of artists to an extent, and then it's like I just, for some reason, I'm just not feeling it anymore, whether like the beat selection switched up or they just didn't have the same feeling. Or I don't know if everybody's supposed to stick with everybody necessarily forever. There's a lot of rappers. It's a lot of rappers.
Shoot, if I roll off of what you just said, though, eventually you want this to happen with you. What do you want people to tell you if you go commercial? Or do you want anybody to say, I'm a business, I worked hard to get here?
I don't know. I would like to think that I would just, you know, stick to my guns, because that's how I got here. I mean, it's just by not listening to anybody. I'm not going to really lie or sugarcoat it. There's advice that is true, and it'll keep coming back around. You'll find this kind of like if you have any other really pursuits, there's some stuff that like keeps circling back around, you know, and like sometimes that stuff deserves a second look. So if somebody's telling me something, that person's telling me something, and, you know, I care about those people, maybe I should take a second look at it. But other than that, really, I just stuck to what I used my ear on and thought sounded good, like this thus far. It's more so I consider myself aficionado, you know, like I put a lot into writing and rhyme schemes and lyrics, but there's me, that's that one person. But then some people also, though, there's some people, though, that don't even listen to words for hip-hop. Like, I just kind of vibe to the beat. If it's got a good beat and sounds good, then...
Is that selling out for you right now?
No, I don't think any of it necessarily is. I was just talking to my friend about making some songs. We were going to make songs that are a little more squared off, because there's a difference between me hopping on an ideology or hopping on a brand and, like, pushing it and not doing what I came here to do. That's not what MCs do. But then, like, for me to square up some of my songs so that it would reach more people, and stick to, maybe only have instead of 16 punchlines that knock your face off, you just got 2, and the rest is just more like on some message. There's a way to do it in your own way, to not be doing what this dude did in '90 to bring it back. It's not just hip hop, it's show business. People want to repackage and reinvent the wheel over and over again. It just, it frustrates me, because there's certain people that go out of their way every day to try and make something new. So,
yeah, but you're talking about how people are also kind of blocked out of the business part of hip hop, and when they want to have audiences that, larger audiences that hear their work.
Yeah. True. The thing that I've learned is you can always, like pull out and repackage. Like I said, I've had people tell me that I've stayed true to myself, when in certain regards I feel like I haven't, maybe in certain areas. At the end of the day, virtually everything that I'm trying to get done is staying true to what I stuck with. You should be able to remarket yourself. If there's a will, there's a way. Like, I would never, you can't just throw your hands up. If you want to do something, you can just throw your hands up and be like, no, it's rigged. I'm not going to get in. So no, I wouldn't call it selling out necessarily to try and make something to where you can reach more people. But okay, let's say now you come out, your next video, you got like whole different style change, and just the music's from then on trash. That is, what else would you want me to call that? I don't really.
I listen to your music, and you have different styles track to track that I feel are really refreshing. It's nice to hear the different ways your voice moves, the different kind of music that you're doing, and then there's a different dynamic to your music from what I'm hearing that I think that more people should find out about. I'll come back to that. Or you want?
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I have high hopes on hip hop. I'm not a hater either. I got some friends doing good, and they're getting shows. Truth be told, it's good to see more of those lights coming through in a lot of different places. I'm supposed to do this track with this dude from South Africa. He speaks English in his music, but it's just on that hip-hop energy, we just connected through a producer. We have that availability. We can connect like that. That's really cool. I'll take a couple weeks off if I have to have a change of mind or something, because I don't want to recreate the same thing over and over again. What works will work, so I'll probably circle back to it. And that's kind of why I do the tough guy thug thing too. I had some bad stuff happen. They basically doomed me. So I'm like, well, you made this guy, and that's what I think hip hop is flipping all that. It's okay, we got to live here and this is all we got, and we're going to find a way to flip it. And that's what the survival is. That's what people do when they do. And I'm comfortable there. I'm comfortable being broke, putting everything I have into this bag, because it's been like that for like 15 years. After a certain point, it's no turning back. But you just get smarter and better at it. Like, we'll get there.
Well, you have a story about why you started getting serious about your music career. Yeah. You want to share it?
Oh, sure. It's just been a few different forks in the road for me, man. I skated forever. I just had a turning point where you find yourself being like, 19, you don't know what you want to do. Everybody wants you to go do business or whatever, where I kind of knew all along. I just had to meet some of these artists we talk about, like Slug, Mac Lethal, Charlie Tuna, Black Thought. Just some of these people, they were renegades, they were poets, and there was a certain point they're like, this is what I do, I'm going to keep doing that, and then eventually the world will come back around and accept me. And this also too is a weird thing with God also, where I would go out, get out of the boat, and then get met because I believed and had faith in I don't see them as mistakes necessarily but learning. So not knowing what to do, I decided what I wanted to do was what I wanted to do, which was make music. And so I decided I was going to leave. I dropped out of school. I tried to hitchhike to Illinois. I was just I just crossed that road where I would get met in the middle. And I did, and I had bumped my head quite considerably over the last 10 years, but hip hop has always been there for me to kind of get me back out of that. I had some weird stuff where I got in trouble. I had to do time. I couldn't really write that whole time, but it was always there for me. It was weird. It's weird. I've had a lot of like read it into like other people that were incarcerated or whatever, but like it's a weird soul thing. You can write stuff, but it's like nothing you really want to come out here and push, really. Not for me. I wrote a lot, I learned a lot, became a better writer. I met a person that I think is the greatest rapper on earth, but he's doing like 40 to life over like taking somebody else's case. He's a solid dude. But anyways, the dude is really, really raw. He kept me. I've met these people throughout this like crazy fork in the road that have just kept pulling me back this way, and it took me a long time to realize like what was all happening, but like it is like a path thing that I think is predetermined. Like it's the only way that I can put it, because I just kept putting in the work, and I don't always feel that great about the rap that I do. That's probably why I didn't keep anything from prison, you know. It's just like I was just staring at it, and the fact that it's my life and all. But you know, I kept moving on down that road, and I kept what was good and what I believe is important to the culture for myself, and just got rid of all the trash as I went throughout my 20s and meeting people that pulled me back in that direction, which is weird. And then ultimately I just stayed freestyling and writing. I didn't really have like a strategy or anything like that. I just wanted to be creative and like stay on my game. And then like I had a block or whatever, got depressed when I had my son. I took some time off. I learned a little more, and then I just decided, you know, it's like now or never. I'm not going to get another chance to peak and keep going. I didn't think so. That's pretty much what I did a year ago. I took off. I got my technology, got my little home studio and kept meeting these cool people that kept me on the right path. You know, I'm going to stick by those people throughout the rest of this too. Those are some really good people that were there for me when nobody else wanted to. Right? Everybody thinks you're crazy because you're like dedicating your life to something that don't necessarily give you any money back, but there's a reason why it does a lot for me, and it does a lot for other people too. They might not really credit it or whatever, but we're like hood reporter, motivational speaker. That's what I think MCs are. It's fun to have drinks and kick it and dance and stuff, but like I like to listen to stuff that kind of moves you a little bit. That's what I would like to make music. I don't hear it as much as I used to, and that's kind of what my goal is, to make music like that. Anyways, I didn't want to get too deep into the treachery of all my 20s, but I beat myself up throughout my 20s. You have this opportunity, and not necessarily a failure, but it just not work out the way that you want it to, or then something even worse goes wrong. Just sometimes you feel like you can't get back from these spots in life, but pretty much the only way that I got out of my depression and through everything was kind of like pick this purpose, and just kept, you know, throwing darts at the target just every day to give myself something to do. And I feel like every single time they tried to give me a loss, I flipped it. Hip hop, baby.
I noticed that in your lyrics, you've got a literary approach to what you say.
Nice. You did notice that, yeah.
Well, shoot, I'm a language and a rhetorician. I love literary things.
Cool. That's great. I'm glad to hear that, because like I was just saying this a second ago, but some people say like they just listen to beats, they don't even listen to lyrics. It's crazy to me. I loved English growing up. Like I said, I couldn't really spell that well, and they were always on me about my sentence structure and all that.
But say onomatopoeia, okay?
Yeah, no, yeah, but see, that's the thing. Is I don't think that stuff.
You don't have to spell it to say it. No,
I know. Well, listen, they misspelled my name at like 14,000 wrestling events growing up. And so I just realized, they're like, oh, there he is, Josh Shell. You know, I see him. Look at it. We see what it is. That's what I paid attention during poetry, and I took some honors classes for the stuff I was real interested in. I either was interested or not, you know, and like did well in it or not, you know. So like, didn't realize until I picked this thing later that it was kind of all like a thing that would eventually happen. I don't rhyme the same word over again. If I do, there's like some like real cool reason why. It's all just like you picking your words. And yeah, sometimes I get crazy with the syllable, like counting the way that syllables are. There's a lot to it when you break it down like that. With hip hop and the lyrics, you have a lot of space to play and be creative. You know, I try to use that space to like challenge myself and like add to the point where it's almost too much and like back it up a little, you know, and just play with the space that you have to create in. It's not a space to not care. In this art is to like do different things. That's the way that I look at it.
You came prepared to perform a couple of your pieces. You're going to take us into one now, and this one's called Black, right?
Yeah, it's called Black. Yep.
Okay.
It's off the it's the Rick Rubin 1 edition, which was just a bunch of singles I pumped out at the beginning to try and get people's attention. So yeah, the beats by think it's Digital Tsunami. I think he's changed his name like 3 times. It makes it kind of hard for me. But so yeah, I went to school with him. His name's Cameron. He runs a podcast called Cowboy Killers out in Cincinnati. He does a bunch of different things. He made me this beat, didn't charge me for it. I blessed him. Black.
Yeah. So I'm idea connecting despite some real dry heaving sessions. The elections teach us to treat laws as merely suggestions. On my day, one time you just tried stealing seconds. Lame fame chasing peasants made catch Bible belt spankings for them flagrant indiscretions. Flavored water we sipping got us all blame misdirecting, aim taken. David caressing, painstaking confessions. At times I find my mind melts and unbinds it. Baby faintly caresses my brothers. Good luck with the daily inception. We sketching impressions, the best depression. Expressionism, exorcism, and open to criticism. Yep, I've accepted the lesser skeptics. Watch me ball up this fist and use the language as weapons. A better leverage. I favor putting pressure on undead predecessors. Tell the payment's excessive, especially when I'm upstage by attending. When I will gangway, I pay attention, move way out this direction. Lay precious stones of perception. Bestow golden rolls, whichever landscape that I'm thinking of stepping. Go get it, go tender. If you're too lazy to render, then I'm taking your blessings. While you rad racing for the rent, missing your road to redemption, you should make me think of taking that exit. Gigawatts of phallic poems spliced with some pick-me-ups and acidos mid-manic notes. Politic and palindromes with Alex Jones. Put a callus on the outward appearance amidst the powder with metallic bones. You'll undergo the tactical approach and headed home. Art of war, au revoir, adios. One man.
What other things did I try and do for the language arts portion of them? Punchlines I take very seriously. Plays on words, the puns. Other people that do a good job of this are Taiamu Dinku. We have like 3-way intersecting punchline. Like he said, Edward Nigma on the beat, just to parallel the riddle. 3 punchlines in one. That's pretty much pushing myself in that regard is what I like doing. Honestly, biggest reason why I did that is because I thought my voice sucked forever.
Yeah. I gotta have you pause right there because one, you're using punchline in a different way than in comedy.
Kind of.
But it's different from comedy. Comedy is when it's the payoff, right?
Yeah.
But the punchline that you're talking about in hip hop is a piece that people are supposed to hear and internalize. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just get. I mean, I would be happy with get. Yeah, if you're thinking about it and getting it, I mean, that's a super win for me. But you're correct. Yeah, the way that you put that.
Okay. And then, why did you think your voice sucked?
I don't know. I listened to such awesome MCs with awesome voices, and like, I was like, oh, I can't bite these guys. I can't mimic this, and I just did. Maybe it's just hearing. You ever heard your voice through a microphone for the first time? I mean, I willed all this stuff. Right. In the beginning, people told me to stop. I'm annoying them. I just quit. But
people told you to stop.
Oh yeah. It's been yeah. I actually have my hero Slug. I sent him an email, and I know he read this email because it was almost word for word. It was like, oh, I won't listen to my dad, but I'll go and listen to Slug and yada, yada, yada. About, like, basically, I'm just in a cornfield, like, trying to do hip-hop, and I was just really feeling frustrated. So I wrote that letter, and he wrote one back, him and Ant, and they were sitting there reading it on the YouTube. They were looking for content. They were going to take stuff, and fans sent in, like, make songs out of it. Well, there was like, you should just quit.
Slug said that?
Yeah, the group said that. That's what they said. But like, that's a test. Like, if you're about it, you're not about to quit. And then, they're not going to be mad if you're mad at them for like a year. You know what I mean? That's the thing is, if you're here to do this thing, it's not about $1. It's not about, and that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, well, that's good that there are people that you admired out there who gave you some advice that you learned how to ignore.
Well, it's
so
true.
that you
Yeah,
could go
exactly
after
true.
what you
'Cause
wanted.
this game is nasty sometimes. Yeah, it exactly right. Some of the energy in it and some of the way that people are about money. At first, you don't know how to like get these people's hands out of your pockets, but that's why the more you learn, the less you gotta split it.
Mm-hmm. What is it that you like about your voice now, given what your heroes had said about it?
The practice is when you can get everybody's voice is individual, so they would have to sit there and work on it. And then once I put the work in, it wasn't as bad, I guess, and I could hear it back. Recording was a huge thing for me because then I could be like, oh, I can learn when enough was enough. You can learn the pocket that you need to sit in or you do best at, and then you can push that pocket. That's how I got comfortable enough to feel stylish, to then add the stuff later and the layers later. Pretty much. Yeah, just trial and error, ultimately.
Are you talking about the sound? Because you've got this really nice baritone. So
Yeah,
are you
but
talking about the
at
sound
first I
of
was
your
just
voice or
scared.
the
I don't know.
the
I don't-
lyricism? Or are you holding back?
No, I just was insecure about
Okay.
it. Pretty much it. Like I said, I had awesome idols that sounded really good. So it's like I don't sound like them or whatever. I don't want it to be original. It just took practice. That's it. Just because like rap's kind of easy to do and write lyrics or whatever, putting in the practice and the work is where I got most comfortable to where I would even to be confident and then beyond that too. You know?
Okay.
So you kind of fake it till you make it a little bit in that regard. Sometimes I still don't feel good about some of the stuff that I do. It's just a weird artist thing. I don't know.
Sounds like you're going for something that is in your head, and you're practicing until your voice and your cadence and etc. can reach the vision for what you want to sound like in your head.
Yeah, and sometimes that's planned. Sometimes that's like something that just comes improv that it's at least original enough to keep, and I keep it. And yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah.
just luck up on it.
I wouldn't call it luck because I'm working on it every day. But what we call it is the muse.
Mm-hmm.
The muse comes and you get to interact with the muse. The more so when you work on stuff, sometimes it doesn't show up. Sometimes, the light doesn't come in. But, regardless, I'm there every day, all day long, as far as I can to have that interaction with the muse too. So it's like a combined force. I honestly wholeheartedly believe it's a God thing. It's a faith thing, ultimately. Because, you're going out and then as long as your intentions are pure and it's for the right reasons, you get met in the middle. And then, if you do more to, take care of yourself and your health's better, the more you do for yourself and for your environment and for everything, it all kind of plays into all that. I really believe that stuff. Kind of like everything matters. Existentially, Yeah. I'm definitely not nihilistic at all. Like I said, when I don't do this and care about this and contribute to the culture like this, then I get real nihilistic. Even when I had my son, I was supposed to be the happiest I've ever had, but I just knew there was something I was supposed to be doing and working on. Kind of wasn't really.
There was something pulling at you.
Yeah. It sounds maybe
answer this
cliche or
pull.
corny. Sorry if I get talking over you. I'm just excited to be here.
I got a chance to watch some of your videos on YouTube. They're really creative and well shot. And what I noticed about them, given that we're in the Midwest and I'm a Midwest kid, and now I'm finding out you're a Midwest kid, there's something about it that your videos bring into the moment that validates that Midwestern life, running out there by the rivers and coming down through the trees and standing up on top of rocks. And you even just mentioned a minute ago about, I'm in the middle of a cornfield trying to, meet my purpose. And of course, that's where it will find you too. Where you are is where it'll be found.
What's what you got? Honestly, where creativity comes is you don't have the money to go make the thing. You make one of your own. You make it yourself. And I'm big on using what I have. And what we have is there's pretty parts of Ohio. You don't have to hate on all of Ohio. Some parts of Ohio, yeah. Some people of Ohio, yeah. But there are also the Glen's beautiful. Yellow Springs is beautiful. If I had to pick a place, I live in Enon right now. If I had to pick a place to rep from, I'd probably say Yellow Springs, because I spend most of my free time there. I'm going to be honest. A lot of what we did was I got to pay for the camera guy too. So I'll have a general vision. We'll shoot a couple takes and a lot of real improv in the moment type stuff. We'd show up places and a lot of that construction stuff would be there. And yeah, we just throw our heads together and
It's organic.
Yeah, without you trying to make it like that, you're not going to get that.
Yeah, I think it's
Not the lottery, you know. If you keep trying every day to get closer to that, I feel like you get better at it. Thank you for saying that about the videos. Dude, Richie Macias shot the first couple ones, and my guy Aaron's shooting pretty much from here on out. Aaron's real good. Option A Studios.
Yeah, Option A Studios. Cool. You know, your lyric on Well mentions you used to be drug dependent, then that you are past that.
Yeah.
Are your lyrics your life, like most hip hop artists want folks to believe or to know?
Yeah, like I'm so me that I can't be me, and what that means is like I'll walk into a room and be talking about my business, kind of like, and so like I just can't really help that. I'm like a very open person, so I just put my whole real life. There's not one bar from the start to the finish is a lie. It might in some ways be shooken into facetious spin on it or added to it, but mostly I put it whether it's shameful because it's really real, and like to take that solid look at it and decide whether I want to keep it or move on from it is how I do it. Like I'll put it in the song. It is what it is. I'm not trying to hurt nobody, but in order for me to grow, you know, sometimes that shameful stuff needs to be put in there, you know. So I mean, I made that mistake like 100 times, like going back into addiction, like but until I made that song, really didn't really have the strength to move on past it, because you get to like look at it. It's kind of what I do. I can't afford a therapist, you know, so I just put it in there. And then some of the stuff, I don't know, man, maybe the world's not ready to hear some of it. Depends on some of that stuff, so maybe they're not formed well enough to put out there. That's the way that I look at it too. Like it'll circle back around if it's true, you know, so I'll just keep honing that. So yeah, I was drugged out in like 10, 12 years addicted to opiates. That was mostly like a prescription thing. Like I talked myself into the Suboxone treatment program for like a way longer than I needed to type thing. Anyways, I put all that stuff in there to be as real as I possibly can. Like my goal is to be as consistent with like MCing, you know, the skill aspect of it, and real, like, as real as I possibly can be. Obviously, I want to open doors, not close them for myself. So like I'm working on making that a little more presentable at times, you know, so I can take it places. But yeah. Yeah, appreciate you asking that too.
Sure. What's the diss of Tom McDonald about? What's that beef?
So Tom, this is gonna be funny, but I'm gonna just let this out. So like Tom dissed my hero, Mac Lethal, who's like a dad at the time, just working, being a stay-at-home dad. He's a YouTuber, kind of is where he's getting most of his money. He's got merch and all this other stuff, but so like he's making, you know, these fan videos of like how these two parents met and like doing like nice stuff for people. And this dude just is like really troll, like, I mean, he's making fun of white cultures. It's supposed to be edgy, right? And a lot of what he's doing and saying to battle is like has no class at all. Like it's like an MGK to Eminem, like, dude, just shut up, bro. Like, why would you even open your mouth? Anyways, the dude did good. Like the diss did well. He got people to watch it. It just was a very tasteless move in my part. But then, like, you know, hindsight's 2020, right? Because I guess Mac Lethal shot the first shot at him, making fun of him, right, rapping about white privilege or something. People are just funny about things like that. So like then they're both like white rappers. It's just, just so funny to me, man. So they beefed it out. I just thought dude was really tasteless and like sat with me for a long time. And really, I didn't really say anything.
You didn't.
If he would have taken it serious, then I would have actually made one. That's what I would have liked to engage in. That was pretty much the goal with that. Ultimately, all it did was probably like make some of the people that likes him upset, and then they got crazy in the comments, you know. So like, it's more just.
Yeah,
like,
I saw the cage match. They wanted to
yeah.
come to the
Well,
cage
he was
match.
talking about something and like putting his kids in it. And it's just like a certain level of like respect I feel like grown men should have. And dude's just like, I'm going to be the biggest. I'm going to be the biggest YouTuber. It doesn't matter if I make fun of this guy's kids. And like, too much.
Some things should be off limits.
Yeah, you should probably have a little class. Well, Mac Lethal is pretty much, that's just how he gets down. He kind of like prides himself on being like a good-natured dude, but he came up from like 20 years of straight battle rap. And as soon as that dude made that song, Mac Lethal posted a picture of his little trophy from when they actually freestyled, like head to head. He used to have to like be a rapper for 10 years, pay dues, do shows all the time, just to still not be remembered or known. I mean, like, it's still the same thing. It's just like a lot of people feel like it's an easy way because you get on here, and it used to be you could get an organic video that was good to go far, but like all that stuff's kind of over, you know. They put it to where like every app has its own monthly thing. Well, they want you on that app. It's no like inter-app sharing for viral stuff anymore, you know, and it just doesn't work like that anymore. It was just a shot in the dark, you know, so I can dunk on him if he ever, that's all. Trying to be the biggest troll rapper. It's like we got enough 6ix9ines. We got enough of those dudes. We got enough Iggy Pops. We got enough of the scum of the earth, man, that got money. Like we don't. I'm tired of it. That's kind of that's what the Art of War thing is. That's what the squad. It's like NoDoze, but like parts of the commercial industry are garbage. Like they're not good for people or kids or anything. It's like obvious. Poison, energy drinks, drinking every night, even smoking all the time. The reason I put the smoking so heavy in my stuff is mostly just because I used to take pills and it's a nice in between. The reason I put fighting in my songs is because it's a nice in between from shooting, you know, and like I'm working on myself. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. Like I would like to put this also out on air too. The albums that are written, like what's there was written, somewhat kind of in the joint, you know, in my head, you know. So like for a long time I worked on that. So I'm like years where I'm actually at some of the songs that I'm making. I'm going to keep doing that because like as I get better at that, I'm getting better at doing what I want. So like ultimately the best is definitely yet to come, and just working at a slow kind of increase on like both becoming a better person, artist, dad, all that stuff so that I can do better. That's how you get locked in the spot, is you get locked in your head. Think that you're doing it the best or whatever. It's to be critical like that's how you grow. If I would have thought I was the best rapper, you know, I would have put out all that crap I did at my mom's house like a year ago, like, which is just crap. Like I was nowhere near. I would just knew that I had put in enough work over time that if I really take it seriously, I could be here in a year. So this is proof that that stuff works out, that you can will stuff. If your heart's in the right spot, if you put the work in, you don't just expect things from people, it can work out.
Because a lot of things are really starting to move fast and deep and focused for you.
Yeah, that first album I put out, I went to work. I was up at 6, drove an hour, did 8 hours of construction, drove an hour home, worked on it until I could. And I had to basically push my son away for a few months. He wanted the boob anyway, so it wasn't that serious. But I had to focus like that, and it got easier. And then it was like I made a mistake where I was doing too much, and it was a big balance thing. But like now, you know, I'm cool with finishing drywall in the day and in every other waking moment getting my ducks in a row. It feels good to be like, somebody will notice that. Somebody did notice that. You know, I'm here today because somebody, you know, noticed the grit in that. And so I appreciate you guys. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to try and keep growing on up and up for sure.
That kicks. Okay. Now, I've heard your music, so I know it's different, but you're sure to start to get the comparisons to Eminem as more people get to know you and your style. Yeah. So you want to practice with me how you're going to respond to those people when they have
I was actually to some lady at an open mic, and I wasn't mean, but I was just snobbish in a way because I've heard that so many times. It's okay. Dude, it's dope. It's cool. Like, I just gonna be like, thanks, because those people aren't like spending 8 hours, 40 hours a week working, thinking about hip hop.
Yeah,
kind of like I am. I know that they're complimenting me, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, the only thing when you get to the deeper part of it, because I like to go deep on it,
is
that's
that okay.
You're so facile with your words and your lyrics, but they're really looking at skin rather than style.
Yeah, but I'm not allowed to say that, dog. I can't be like, in this climate, it's like, I know better. I'm respectful. So like, there are people that are making breakthroughs right now. It's my job is to be happy for them and shut up. Some people I just feel like don't need to be making political statements. That's all. I don't make them in any way, but they do make them. And I can't even be like, really, are you doing this to me? Because I just don't want to deal with any of that stuff, because I've fought against weird stuff my whole life because I love hip hop, you know? So the moment like I was like, oh, I'm in love with this stuff, it was like, felt like a zealot forever. But like, regardless, people are going to be hypocrites. People are going to say stuff, make mistakes, and do goofy stuff. But yes, that stuff happened. I mean, I don't really have, truth be told, like, I don't believe in any of all that stuff. I think it's made up. I think it's a lie. I don't. I think that there are like physical differences between people like you can see, but I feel like as far as that doesn't even matter. Your skin, your body lasts like 70 years and it's gone, but you know what you do, it doesn't. What you're here doing, the relationships you're building with people, that is a different thing. It's a lot of people think real small. Ultimately, the way that I feel about it is that's that dude's deal. You know, I haven't thought like that in a very long time. I'm happy about that. I prefer to hang with the people that don't really feel like that. Nobody's going to listen to me if I'm like, you shouldn't feel like that. I'm not going to tell nobody how to create. I'm not going to tell nobody how to feel. Maybe they've had enough experiences to feel justified feeling like that. I don't care. I know that if I'm Eminem, then Drake could show up any moment and hook it up. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you could be that successful. I don't know. I was just trying to take it as a positive. I know what they mean. You got to let that stuff roll off your back. There's no room
Mm-hmm.
to deal with the weakness, the whackness, the little part of the personality like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's kind of childish. I feel like the smart people realize what's going on. They give people respect, just like a way of conducting yourself. My mom, thankfully, she was really cool. Mom and dad, they made me treat people nicely. You know what I mean? Some people earn to not be, but like I'm 31. I've already like fought with everybody forever about stuff. I'm not fighting with nobody anymore. I don't have the time to. Or that's cool. Even in some of the videos, like dude said something about the drug things. Like I got a pretty good sense of humor. You know what I mean? Like I just try and let that like wash off. You know.
I think about the fact that people think that folks need to be replaceable. Like there's only one space or a couple of spaces. They would think more about you as in Eminem's territory, like you're going to replace him or in some kind of way.
I would send that dude my tape if he would listen to it, because he put on Yellow Wolf. And I'm not going to ask nobody to step in and do the work for me. I love doing the work. But as far as to being able to like have a rotation at a spot, like maybe, you know, I worked real hard to get here. Who knows? Maybe down the road that's possible. You know? I'm not against anything like that. That's kind of the growth thing. Like a year ago, maybe I would have been mad about that. You know what I mean? But at least I know who Eminem is. You know, he got canceled or whatever. But at least I know who Eminem is. I didn't even like really Eminem for that long at first. I thought he was like, I wasn't even ready to like listen to like some of the crazy stuff he was saying. My little brother was, though. Yeah. So then, like, I had to go back and, like,
really get into it.
Yeah, to see, because, like, I was like, all right, are they lying? Same with Lil Wayne. Like,
yeah.
I did not like that at first either. Like, when it was big, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, when I went back with, like, a fresh set of ears and, like, a couple years under my belt or whatever, you look and listen. And then maybe you hadn't been in the situation to where you can relate to that line yet. You know? I just don't think people dig that hard and far for music, especially hip-hop. Like, they take what's given to them or what's popular or what somebody shows them. And that used to be, like, cool, like, because I would give my friends all stuff to listen to and, like, pump them. I would just send them links all the time. It's important to me, but like I also dug to get that. Like, we didn't have crates, we didn't have records, we had YouTube. I would just go into torrents and wormholes in YouTube until, you know, and find groups and then check everything they had out, because it was free, and that was huge for me. And I just don't know if everybody necessarily does that or cares enough to give something 5 seconds. Sometimes I would listen to something not necessarily like it, try it again and listen to it and actually get it. Maybe I wasn't in a place to receive it. You know, some of this stuff, there's more to it than just a drum beat playing and some guy making some rhymes. Some of it is like from a perspective or delivered from a character perspective. So I do that a lot too, where like I'm not really violent all the time, but I'm in like that type of frame of mind, or like it's put me into that frame of mind, or I'm trying to get past that frame of mind. It's like trying to like take those different positions in it. I feel like that's important to it, you know, be the same guy over. Slim did that pretty good too. He was different people and different characters, and they kind of moved you. Whether you like to be moved in that direction or not, you got moved.
Yeah.
If you listen to it and you bit off a little bit of it. And
you know, when people start listening to it on YouTube or where they can find it, they're going to find that you just described your work.
There are people out there that are going to get it. That's really refreshing too, that people are going to be like, oh, and just get it from the first take on. That's really
You almost gave up your pursuit of music, of hip-hop. Will you share some of those reasons?
Well, I thought I missed the boat with a couple of things that have happened. Okay, so my first girlfriend didn't want to be with me after I dropped out and went back to Illinois to try and like work in that direction. Like at that point, I pretty much curled up. I was depressed, and hip hop got me out of that. And so, like, I've always had these points where it's like, and I've worked on this stuff pretty much up until falling and dropping up until that point, too. So, like, if I would have got an opportunity at that time to do something at the right time, it would have probably been very beneficial for me. I don't think I was necessarily mature enough to handle all that kind of stuff at this time. So, like, in these weird instances, the next one was prison. I got attacked outside. I was in my car, and I was doing open mics between here. I was actually at a poetry slam here. Simi.
Here at Central State?
Yes. Anyways, this cop pulled up. I was sleeping in a car. But anyway, so like I had to go to prison for 3 years because this dude attacked me asleep and got some hands, and then I got tased for like 3 minutes. I had to go to prison because that's pretty much it. They pretty much like, well, you're lucky they didn't shoot you, which I am very lucky that they didn't shoot me and all that. But wildly misconducted, if you will.
Mm.
So, and then they sold them some weird story on the news, and it was just crazy. But anyway, so I did 3 years, and then was I gonna come back and keep rapping? Ultimately, yeah, it was empty until I started doing it again. Got stuff back going, got talking about getting rid of the pills, kind of just slowly been a slow grind. But in this process of this 10 years where I'm working on my craft, I'm also, you know, getting rid of these things in my life to where I can't be successful. So I guess it just took me that long to grow up and get to where, like, now I feel like a force, like, from every portion of the business, and like, from performing to, like, actually knowing what goes into promoting a song or making an entire album or coming up with the art, or, you know, how much money it's going to cost, budgeting, just period. I could run a business now, whereas before I thought I just grab the mic, smoke some weed, and that's the end of my job description, where it's like there's enough work to do work. You'll never run out of work. As long as you're willing to work and work at it, you can with this, which is kind of the cool thing in it.
Yeah, I think so too, especially because people were trying to put out some years ago that, hey, once you're a certain age, you shouldn't be doing hip hop. And I thought, where would that come from? Because who puts those kind of limits on anybody else in the art industry?
People trying to sell stuff. Yeah, like you just a different
90 years old writing books.
They're the same people that won't let bigger women wear bathing suits and take pictures. You know, like it's the same, like they want to do the thinking for you. Okay, this is what you're going to like. This is what is the word sexy. This is what is hip hop. But it's not, though. Like, everybody knows that everybody doesn't look like that. That music industry at once was doing a lot better for people. The work is in alignment with the worth of self, the self-worth. And those things are hard to come by. You know, self-worth, you know, you have to work for that. You have to work for not being depressed. Sometimes it kind of sucks being a human, but you got to, like, you know, have your purpose, and you got to do it every day, you know?
NoDoze, almost famous. Universal code, cubic spaces bought and sold. My Drake is breaking true. Sir Isaac Newton mold, shoot reproaching cue to trolls. I'm usually stupid, low, reclusive ho. I refuse to load this human nature, but lose this youthful solitary goal. Honorary scrolls, kinda super quotes. If you think you taxing how I cope, I'm breaking bureaucratic bones. The natural phenomenon, I'm always on it. Browsing off this constant loss, bruh. I be fighting for this life like a vagina at a Comic-Con. I decided either way it goes, I'm never going rogue. I'll see what's coming, tell my two and common reign is overthrown. Going bigger, limping off, ramping up like Tony Hawk. Gotta notice they raise my rent, my list is long, apocalypse is close. Every day I wake and think I got my products are bare and soul. Heard of a dollar, return a scholar. Grab a tiger's toe and help the karma reverse the roles. Overkilling, slipping in the zone, moving close to going rogue. Method actor, about them Oscars, I'm popping off like I'm Kevin Costner. Stone, thanks for asking. No, I wipe my ass with Golden Globes. Gotta go there blunt to roll. Oh, whoa. With a great source of entertainment. Can you blame him? He's underrated, overworked, and that's an understatement. They side-eyeing like I missed the payment. Oh shit, I probably did. Sorry, we did. Deep inside, I feel the two are unrelated. I'd like to think the devices that raised us, my brother's pseudo-fib, my pseudo-science created. Humanist stars, hard hating, flat broke a-ho. Who halfway ain't this, you mad, bro? I'm pseudo-famous. The greatest, that's pseudo-famous.
I think, just like I said, once again, the reinvention of the wheel. And you know, it's like trying to be cool and spend all your money. It's like, of course they would want you to do that. Of course they want you to come to buy up all the alcohol, get in trouble, do a bid. You know, I mean, I just like, there's like lots of money to be made off that kind of stuff. It's like, and I know that because I've been involved in all that thing. So like having that 10 years of bumping my head off at everything possible was the best thing that could have happened to me, because now I'm just not the same, you know what I mean? Not the same little, I'm not as global. I'm better with people, all kinds of different people. Sometimes those things happen for a purpose, for a reason that are, you know, I feel like everything kind of is planned, and like we're all kind of like, at least now since I started seriously taking it all seriously, like I'm just, I guess, happy that like if I pick this one, like and kept, the certain parts that I was supposed to, as far as my portion of it, that I'm getting met in the middle on it with people and with God and with just period. So it's been cool. I was going to quit, man. I didn't, you feel like nobody cares.
Oh.
But also they can't care if you don't give them a reason to. Like if you don't show them where the spring's at, they can't drink from it. If you don't. Not everybody wants to hear that lyricism at that level, so maybe you need like a bait song. That's where coming in and squaring that stuff is. And like maybe they do or will love it, but they don't know if it's okay to. They don't know if it's popular enough to. It's just like I'm just gonna keep getting this stuff in front of the right people, and I feel like ultimately is to try and help the people that are confused. Ultimately the good-natured people that like lyricism. It's probably not for everybody, and that's okay. I'm not gonna pretend, That's all right.
Yeah, it's interesting too. At the same time that you went through what you went through in your life, you still had to learn how to receive the lessons. Because it seems like some people don't. They're 20, 30 years down the road doing the same thing over and over. You have to.
So here's the biggest thing that I did is it's my fault. All that shit was my fault. Okay, I blamed everybody under the sun until I realized it was like, dude, it's not. Even if it's not, you're not gonna deal with the hole that it put in your life or your heart or your head if you don't take some responsibility for the mistakes that put you in that position. Because you will be in similar positions again. It's just how life works. That's why I didn't quit. Is because I've already felt what it feels like to be like washed up.
Okay.
Because I already was at certain points, and then I just feel like the one thing when the dude's like, dude, you was the man back in high school. I'm not trying to go out like that. Like I would rather fail or not make any money or whatever. I was pumping whatever amount of money into that drug habit a day. Like why not just like budget it, make it realistic, put that money into something that might come back like a lottery ticket.
I suspect that your lyrics are really indicative of your philosophy in your art. Let me ask you some rapid fire questions based upon some of your lyrics and song titles.
I won't get all crazy. I won't get crazy on the over explanation. I know I like to talk a lot and I get over explanatory.
I don't mind. I like the detail.
Okay.
Here's one of your lyrics. And I'm taking little tiny pieces,
it's okay.
right?
That's cool.
Because you say a lot in your songs.
Cool.
In one song, y'all, NoDoze
I know.
is really, really comprehensive, and that's kind of stuff I like. I want thinkable stuff, and so, but in little tiny pieces here, you say you don't have time to die. So say a little something about that.
So let me preface that too. But it said the reason why I don't skate is the same reason why I don't die. Because I don't have time when upgrading the game. That goes back to that purpose thing. I love skateboarding. I just don't have time for it. I'm working real hard, and kind of like I've had overdoses in the past where it was like to feel like the reason why I woke up is to eventually be doing this sort of stuff. So that kind of went in with that line right there. Like I don't have time to die until I get what I got done to get done. Like I got. That's pretty much just saying. Like a lot of my lines are just like I'm hungry. I'm way more hungrier than you are. I'm working harder than you. And a lot of it's just like slight rappers because I think a lot of them are whack, man. There's some real good ones. There's people that are great. But they're kind of like, if you don't fit that certain box, man, it's hard for them to shine that light on you.
How about this? When the truth is illegal.
Yeah. I said that this is that music you bump when you need hope. Yeah, it was pretty much. Okay, so that happens all over the place. But mostly where I see it a lot is like the media. Like the media couples with the local government to like, they mean it's like, so this is the story. That's the story. Then they run with it. Like that's happened to me 2 different times. The one instance I explained earlier out here with the boys on this street, like 10 years ago or whatever. But then the other one was actually my sister died when I was 2, and that was another thing where like this kid's parents were cops, and he come cruising around the semi and hit us head on. And I was in the back in the car seat. My mom was 7 months pregnant with Ashley. She was born brain dead. They had to pull the plug. But anyways, they basically took my parents' car. That dude was drinking. They said that my parents were drinking. They flipped the car upside down, put it at a high school, like with this like MADD, like drunk driver mad thing out front of there. That's what I'm trying to say. Like for them to tell you what's really going on with the way that they run this nation and the way that regular things happen, and in real time, if they were to tell you all that, like, I don't know if a lot of people will be able to handle that. And that's why, like, the cops being unaccountable for any murder they've ever committed ever, or any of that, like, if there was to actually take accountability for that stuff, it's too much for them too, so they never do, is the way that I feel like it. That's what I meant by the truth is illegal, pretty much. It's just like, once again, they think they can think for you, like, think that you're not gonna be able to handle. We all know, like, that's what we see what's happening. We get access to a lot of the things in these cases and these things, like, we can, like, look it up if we want to. It's public record, man. Like, and that's why I'm so into making sure that everything I write is, like, as up to, almost verbatim the truth in the stuff, is packaged nice. That's how we get to the next level, I feel like, as, like, people, as society, as being honest like that. You end up running in a little circle, I don't know, that's what I think that line is. And I do put a lot of thought and a lot of time into making sure I pick what I want to say rightly, correctly,
You got another song that you entitled Trauma.
That's actually, I was just talking about that. Yeah, and in there is that. Both of those, one verse is the one with Simi and me, and the other verse is what happened with my sister, and that's in there, yeah. And so the other one, a lot of times if I got 3 verses, I'll put, like, the situation in the 2, and then kind of, like, what I'm doing to get better on the other end of it, or, like, where I'm at now, or I'll put 2 different perspectives that aren't mine but are my words, and then, like, my final one at the end. So if you hear any of the songs that have, like, three verses in them like that, and that are about something you can tell is personal, that's genuinely kind of the thing that I went with. It's like putting different perspectives or different, like, characters in that kind of, and then, like, the third one's usually, like, me and how I really feel. It'd be like a way to explain a joke. I meant it this way, and, like, this is, and I put a lot of these things in my songs so that you can see as to why I act the way that I do. Like, I'm not, some of it's kind of embarrassing, but it is what it is, and I'm trying to get past that, but the only way to do that, I feel like, is to act that stuff out some way, in a safe way. You ever seen, like, yourself on video throwing a fit from being a kid or something like that? Or what about seeing a post from, like, a year ago and you're like, whoa, just like being just like in a different spot, you know what I mean? And, like, that's what I think this stuff does mostly for me. And that's why I put that stuff in there, because it was messed up. And, like, I can tell somebody in a room, but, like, sometimes those people are like, they don't really do that much help for me. They just, like, acknowledge the fact that I told them that. And this way, at least, it's like something bigger than just, like, some air that I just let out.
2 more about these. What's the mental patient lyric about?
Oh, yeah, I was for sure certifiably crazy when I came off of opiates. I just kept going to work and stuff, I had anger issues too from, like, that's why, like, all the, like, if you're out there and you're listening to any of this and it sounds like I'm really upset, it's because I was during this first 2 or 3 albums. I was really upset. I couldn't figure out how this computer was not working that well. It was just frustrating time for me to do all that stuff. But yeah, so that line is just like, I know that, and I think that the crazy and some of that stuff is where some of that stuff comes out. It's just like a controlled crazy kind of a thing, Whereas, like, on the drugs, there is no controlling any of all that. You're just, like, gone, and then you got to deal with yourself after. And that's what I was doing. I was pretty much dealing with, like, putting myself back together. And I could tell that I wasn't 100%, even just skill level wise. And, like, so, like, I just got mad about that. And then it's like, okay, well, I got to, like, make a goal and, like, work on it. And I figured out how to get out of that. But
you knew what you wanted, so
I wanted to talk, and I would like to have gone to therapy and stuff, but, like, the way insurance works, and I'm in the union, but I still can't afford to go do any and all that stuff. Right. It's okay though. I don't know. It's okay, but, like, that's what this stuff was born from. All that, like, all that, like, pain and stuff. So it's like.
So 10 years from now, what's in the vision?
So I would like to, like, get as much of what I want to create out of the way, rock with some good dudes along the way, do some shows, get my store a little further along, get some more merch, obviously make the art, but then, like, have my own place to where, like, if somebody's serious and I have the time, I can help those people that were once in my shoes. Is ultimately what the thing about that is like, I'm gonna be selective. I'm gonna be funny about it. I want people that are driven. Like, everybody wants a dream or whatever, but that's not That's like the one part of it, you know what I mean? Then you gotta like figure out how to really make it happen, write it down, and like try it a million different ways. And like, you know, if I don't see somebody really like care about it as much, then I don't have the time. But I would like to help other people out that have the passion for it, or just, and even I do, like I'll sit with people with rhymes and talk to them about it. I'm not doing it because I think I know better. I'm doing it because like it's my 2 cents right now. You know, I have done it for a long time. You know, just hear me out. You know, if you was going to say something, I would listen to what you would say about it, just because you are the spectator. You're the other perspective staring in on what I'm trying to create. It's kind of important. So pretty much, yeah, we're going to keep mobbing. We're going to keep making cool art. I'm going to stick with mostly the same people. Richie Macias, Mike Reality, Bruce, pretty much the same 4 people. And then we're adding Elias. Elias he did a freestyle at the Gold, so it was crazy. So like people that care, that want to do it, I mean, there'll be a place to. You can come in and cipher with us. I'll be in there working on stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's my vision. And I feel like in order to do that, you know, you got to see it, you got to plan it. And that's what I'm working on right now. Taking the chips that I have and putting them in the right spot so that they can come back to me instead of just spending them on garbage. Working on getting that better with my money too, that sort of thing. I'm getting there.
Everybody, you spell his music label
NoDoze, pronounced NoDoze. I would like you guys to check out is the YouTube channel. If you were to just punch NoDoze into YouTube, some of the videos I've done recently probably pop up. There's a little icon bird for the channel. It looks like a little Tweety bird that's wearing a prison uniform. If you just click that and subscribe to the channel, then you can check out everything coming, everything we already have done, and that's pretty much free streaming. If you go anywhere else that you get your music, Spotify, Pandora, I have channels there too. Just spell it the same way and you'll find what I got going on.
And you're on Instagram, right?
Yeah, and that one is, there's some of them over the titles of the pages. It was funny. Some of them like it's NoDoze Music, so it's NoDoze Music so it'll be at NoDoze Music for Instagram. You can find me there, and Facebook is NoDoze. It's NoDoze. Yeah, it's pretty much it. Some of them you just like have a fight over, like people already maybe have the name or whatever. So some of them are a little different, but mostly on the important stuff, it's right. It's NoDoze. You should see little like there's like some thugged out Dwight from The Office, and then like Daryl. So any of those type of icons will get you closer. Yep.
Is there something that you wanted to cover that we missed?
I did want to. I probably said it, but I just wanted to plug some of the cool people that have helped me out along the way, like my parents, my wife, and my baby, and then like Mike Reality, JC. They're together. They're Wayside, spelled WAYS DE. And those are on all those platforms. I said those dudes are, kind of my right hand mans. And then Bruce, he's in that song that you were talking about, spelled BRUICE, kind of like Juice a little bit. Yeah, you can find him on YouTube and all those other platforms. And then my visual guy is named Richie Macias. He's done a lot of my tattoos. He's pretty much the guy making a lot of what are just ideas and concepts into like actual physical art. My drawing, that sort of thing, helping me out with like my cover arts and stuff. Richie Macias, man. And those people, they're forever gonna be in the corner. They like I was down and out to quit, get a call from either one of these type people asking me what I'm doing, and that's pretty much why I'm here today.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, Joshelle NoDoze.
Yes, ma'am.
For sharing your thoughts and your talents with us on Studio Sessions Acts. Really appreciate you being here.
Most definitely. Thank you very much.
Everybody, thank you for joining us. To give us feedback or connect us to an artist we should all wake up to, the fact that he or she is here, email wcsufm@gmail.com or call 937-376-6261. This is Studio Sessions Acts. Art communicates the soul. I'm your host and producer, Dr. Vanita Kelly. Studio Sessions is broadcast from WCSU Studios at Central State University, an 1890s land-grant institution. WCSU is the longest-running HBCU radio station in the country. Remember to download the WCSU Jazzy 88.9 app so that you can hear us anywhere you are. Studio Sessions comes to you from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Saturdays. So go ahead, tell somebody else. It's a good time, these discussions with and about artists up and coming and established in the creative space. They make all of our lives more interesting and understandable, don't they? We're going to have more sessions in the studio with artists sharing a vision, some thoughts, and why their art do what it do, baby. Listen out for us. Bye for now.